Bob Berg said it most eloquently. We tend to do people, he said it much more eloquently than that. He said we tend to do business with people we know, like, and trust. Trust. That's a big factor. And today that's what I want to talk about in our core values series, trust. Welcome to Leading Leaders Podcast. 5-minute videos, 5 days a week. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. Maybe you've heard the phrase that goes along with that trust concept, that it takes years to build trust and only seconds to break it. And I would say whether you're talking about a dating relationship, a marriage relationship, a employee-employer relationship, a client-vendor relationship, or you're just talking about business in general, or even politics, or even media. Once you've violated trust, you can exponentially add back the amount of time that it took you to build trust in the first place to try to build trust again. Building trust the first time, that can take a little bit of work. Usually it's a matter of demonstrating your character. It's a matter of not just saying what is the right words to say, not just telling them what they want to hear, but actually doing the things that you claim you're going to do. Well, that's called integrity. We've talked about that one already. But if you have a core value of trust, you're open and you're honest and you're loyal and you're transparent. You tell people what you're thinking and what you're feeling, and then you tell them what you're going to do, and you back it up with the actions that are actually consistent with what you said you're going to do. You don't just randomly say, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and make promises that have nothing to do with your behavior. Even if the promises sound like exactly what the client, what the other person in the relationship, what the consumer wanted to hear, even if that's true, making those statements and then not backing them up, well, that's a false hope. And there's nothing more heartbreaking than hope deferred. When you lie about something and you keep promising it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, we're going to do this, I promise to deliver this, I promise to pay up, I promise. When you keep doing that, trust is destroyed. And over a period of time, trust reaches a place where it's zero or it's negative. I've heard other people illustrate that building trust in a relationship, building the equity of trust in your relationship is like the change in your pocket. And so sometimes you reach in your pocket and you have a little bit of change, maybe you get a couple of dimes and a quarter or something, and you realize, oh, I've got a little extra to spend. That'll cover the tax, or that'll cover that extra piece of gum that I was going to grab, or something like that. In a relationship, every time you break that trust just a little bit, or even if, and this is a hard one, even if their expectation is a little different than what you planned to deliver, you're taking a little change out of your pocket. You're having to cover that gap, if you will, in their expectations as they differ from your delivery. Now, here's the hard part. Sometimes you set up an expectation in them by the words that you say, the things you've done in the past, maybe even the way they've seen you treat someone else. When that's the case, the way you've treated somebody else might become the expectation for everyone who sees the way you've treated one employee or treated one relationship, one family member, one child, one niece or nephew. And if you've gone all out for just one of them, then all the rest of them have the same expectation. And when you don't deliver to the same level for everyone, they're going to cry unfair, and that's going to take a little bit of the coinage, a little bit of the change, a little bit of the margin of trust that you've built up with them is going to be eroded just a little bit. Now, when that comes to a client relationship, or that comes to a politician or a leader who begins to erode the trust by treating one person better than they treat everyone else, eventually that becomes their brand as well. And when your brand is you can't be trusted because you treat people differently, when your brand is you can't be trusted because some people get advantages and other people get disadvantages, that, my friend, is a brand of corruption. And at that point, you have no trust. At that point, nobody's going to trust you at all. And now it's not just a matter of gaining trust. You have to refill the hole that you've dug on trust until you can just get back to even ground. At this point, they don't just not trust you, they distrust you. So rather than being on a level playing field with everybody else, the homeless guy on the corner is actually on a level playing field, and you, my friend, are in a hole. So you're starting off at a lower level, or now working from a lower level rather than ground level, because you've eroded the trust. Think of the Grand Canyon. That's just drips of water over a long period of time, right? The erosion of trust is like the erosion of the dirt in front of your house when one sprinkler head freaks out. That's just the way it works. And if you don't have a core value of trust, of building trust and maintaining trust, you're not going to have any trust, and you're going to spend the rest of your life, your business life, your relational life, trying to fill in the hole so you can just get back to ground zero and be on an even playing field with an absolute stranger. Another time we'll talk about trust from the other side, and that is you've got to give trust. You've got to allow people to be trusted by you, even when they haven't earned it yet. Because if you give a man a fine reputation to live up to, he will. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.